Sawadika! Hey guys! Welcome back to my channel. This is Tita Lavinia of Titas of Pageantry, and for this episode, we will be talking about the recently concluded Miss Universe Thailand 2020. So please make sure you stick around, and please subscribe to the channel as well as hit that bell notification button for your weekly pageant picks.
Rain on me.
I'm so sorry. I know that you're waiting for part 2 of Gazini's Wardrobe Decoded interview, but that can wait because we really have to talk about this right now. So a few hours ago, we all witnessed the crowning of Thailand's new queen, Amanda Obdam, who will be competing at Miss Universe 2021. But more about her later on. So before this, at least a few episodes ago, I did discuss Thailand's standing at the major beauty pageants. They've been doing really well. And I think we can all agree that they are ripe for a third crown. And in fact, the new organization that handles Miss Thailand has designed activities to really focus on comm skills, something that we are also in agreement that they really need to work on. So again, I'm so sorry. We have a dog from the neighbor. It's been raining, so the dog has been pretty whiny. So even if we put like background music, it won't drown the sound of the dog. So please bear with me on that. I'm pretty sure the dog is safe. It's just raining. It's probably really lonely. So yes, going back, this edition of Miss Universe Thailand is something that I monitored from beginning to end. I felt that this time I was going to be less lazy and I'm gonna try and post more photos, which I did, making me more familiar with a lot of the girls who competed. So initially they had like hundreds of applicants up until they trimmed it down. So the most recent count is 29. They were supposed to have 30 candidates, but as you know, one of the representatives or one of the candidates had to back out because of some controversy. So this edition is actually really very interesting because it wasn't all roses and butterflies. They did have a little bit of controversy over there, but the good thing about what happened in Thailand is that they're not as affected as everybody else. So if the pageant industry had to step back a little bit and either go into appointments or virtual pageants or staging pageants on a smaller scale, well, what happened in Thailand is entirely different. It seems so normal. I didn't even see any social distancing that was observed during the show, but that really didn't matter because what was happening in Thailand with all of us watching, even, you know, we even got a shout out from the host that a lot of Filipinos were watching and that he knows that we're watching, is that
everybody, all the Filipinos watching too. I know you're watching. Enjoy this, and we'll see you next time.
If we are somber about the situation of not being able to go out and not being able to watch the activities that we've been so accustomed to, then at least we were living vicariously through what Thailand was cooking up. So they had activities. It was a balance of things that were glamorous and things that are relevant. But if you look into the activities, it's really designed to look for someone who has great communication skills, who has a great presence, who may not be perfect, but could tick all of the boxes that would make an amazing Miss Universe candidate. So let's move now to the actual show. So the actual show took place at the True Icon Hall in Bangkok. So just like what happened in Manila, during the 2017-2016 Miss Universe, they first had a red carpet appearance with all of the girls dressed in their finest. One of the most memorable looks from the red carpet show was of Punika's red ball gown. It was really actually similar to Shireen, the one who had to withdraw. The gown that she wore was like an ombre red and black very lava gown, but you know, it's really nice, it's really pretty, and it's something that resonated with the Filipino pageant fans who are thirsty, and super hungry for things that are glamorous. Now, a few days earlier, they did have a preliminary competition, so we got a glimpse of the actual stage. And just like in 2018 and 2019, it's a stage that will really showcase the pasarela of the girls. It's a stage that everybody would have really wanted because it's something that would give them a lot of airtime. So I think the venue is a little smaller this time, but it's fine because di naman tayo choosy, right? So going back, of course, everything is so high-tech. I really love their opening. It was really snappy. It was something that we expected from the Thai team. They have been known to do a lot of these really snappy dance moves, really catchy. So they did not disappoint in that department. Although, when it comes to the actual set, I actually preferred the cultural flavor of the one that they showcase during the preliminaries, because the setting of the final show just seemed like a Miss Universe setup. So there wasn't distinctly Thai in the setup for the finals this time. So, but other than that, it was just amazing. A lot of people were really envious because everything just seemed to be normal, and the girls went out in white and silver cocktail dresses, so they danced, they had coordinated moves. It was just all really amazing. So they had several guests as well. I think one of the guests that you guys have been waiting for are the two cuties from the BL series. So they also serenaded the girls, and then they also had I think Thailand's most popular singer to serenade the girls as well. Let's go now to the stage. So I really like the stage. It just seemed really grand, and I do know that a lot of the girls would prefer to have a stage where they could walk and then they could twirl without any obstructions. But I will note that it isn't perfect. If you're watching the live stream videos, it can get a little distracting, the blocking, the camera angles, as well as the transitions. It's not quite as fluid as I would have expected, but that's fine because when I saw the photos, the HD photos, it really did justice to the whole thing, and it also did justice to the girls. They looked absolutely amazing. Their makeup, as well as their hair, it was more on point this time. So, the production was pretty straightforward. They cut to top 20. Now for top 20, let me just give you the list of the girls who made it. So we had Arisara, we have Nuta, we had Porn Priya, we have Radamani, we have One Visa, we also had Jerry Rat, Wichuda, Natapan, Cyrilux, and Tidapon. Now, if you notice, none of the very popular girls were there because they did something a little naughty. They put the girls into the wild card slots. So the ones who made it into the wild card slots were, for Swimsuit, it was of course the fabulous Punika. For portrait wildcard, it went to the super beautiful Prow. And for speech, very interesting, it went to Amanda. And of course, the heavy favorite of that night was the popular vote, which went to Vina Pravinar. Now, I don't know with you guys, I'm sure you've read the results by now, but this edition is also one of the most heartbreaking, only because at least the top 3 girls were on equal footing when it came to quality of presentation, but more on that later on. So right after top 20, they cut to top 10. This isn't very heartbreaking because a lot of the favorites got in anyway. So at top 10, they were able to present their swimsuit. And that was really, really surprising because during swimsuit, the singer that they invited to perform was actually first runner-up from last year, Miriam. I'm not gonna even say her last name because I'm definitely gonna butcher it. So she ended up singing and she ended up dancing, and it was nice to see her. It was nice to see her long legs, but I will be very honest, it just really seemed awkward for someone like her to be doing Crazy in Love by Beyonce. But it was a really good choice of music because it's something that's really jumpy. It's something that could get the attention of everybody and get the energy going. It's just that the crowd seemed so dead. Had it been done in the Philippines, we would have gone really crazy with Crazy in Love, and we would have really given more of the girls' energy. But as for the swimsuit presentation, of course, the ones who did really well were Amanda, Punika, Queen, Bejarat, one of my favorites as well, and Veena Pravinar. And I'm actually quite glad that they chose a bikini because in this day and age, a lot of these beauty pageants either go into the tasteful one-piece swimsuit situation, because of political correctness. So I'm pretty glad that they got into a little bit of sexy because I feel that we need this. We need a little bit of sex appeal. So thank you guys for giving that to us. But my favorite performance for swim was with Punika because I really loved the way that she played with her cape. It reminded me of Canada during Cat's time. I really like how some girls would stand out because of how they would play with their cape. And apart from that, I felt that Veena did really well. She was really sexy. And I also felt that Amanda also did really well. So now let's move on to my favorite portion, which is the evening gown portion. Now, for the evening gown portion, all of the girls who got into top 10, save for one, changed their gowns. And I thought that it was such a really good move to change the gowns, although a lot of the gowns were either on the red hue. So I don't know if this was something that they thought about because, of course, if you're competing, you would want to stand out, right? So let me just give you a little bit of a background on what they wore and how I feel about these gowns. So Queen Bejarat, she wore the same gown. Now, I wasn't really such a fan of this gown, even if it looked a little bit like Zuhair Murad, or George Hubeka. But the good thing about the styling decision was that she changed her hair. Now the bun is not on top, it's a little lower this time, and I felt that it looked more streamlined. So yeah, good for her. Now Veena Pravinar, prior to her appearing at the finals, there were already rumors that she was going to wear a Mac Tumang creation. Now, I don't know where it came from. I don't know if she dropped Mac Tumang's name in one of her interviews, but if you look at her finals gown, it really would give more weight to that rumor because the finals gown, although she changed it to red, looked so similar to what Vicky wore in 2019. So, just to set the record straight, I don't think that it was from Mac Tumang because the design is so similar to the gown that she wore at prelims. It seems like the same gown because of the same treatment, but it's not. But I'm glad that she went for red because I felt that even if the pink one was really nice and pretty, it washed her out and it doesn't seem to complement her personality. I think red was a really was a better choice for her. As for her hair and makeup, I really wish that she changed her hair. Her makeup was on point, but everything else was really good for Veena. Next, I had Punika. Punika changed her gown into something very streamlined, something that was more couture. It was nude, it had embellishments. The details isn't something that you could see on screen. So in a way, I think the preliminary gown was more successful, but it didn't matter because Punika is such a pro. She could definitely rock any cut or any silhouette. Next was Emmy. Now, Emmy was one of the favorites of the night, but this time she was in gold. It was a really pretty gown, but it was a little forgettable. There wasn't anything super memorable about it apart from the fact that it was gold and it was heavily embellished. I just felt that it washed her out a little bit. I did mention in a previous gown review that I wish she would go for a more saturated tone because her the natkos that she wore, which was a really fiery red, felt like I felt that it was a better complement to her skin tone. Next is Patita. Patita also wore red. everybody is as red as my shelf here. So nice color, nice cut, but it's also something that I've seen before. It's not bad. It's really pretty, but nothing, quite as remarkable. And then we have Prow. Now, Prow pushed it a little further. She was in a silver gown with cutouts. It felt very J-Lo to me. I'll try to look for that photo and flash this side by side with Prow's gown. But what I liked about the gown was that if she turned her back, you would see a crisscross details of chainmail of beads. It's like a beaded thing. But it's really nice. It's something very interesting, and this is something that I also look for, very unique design. So there. Ayum, she was really pretty. She was in blush and crimson. Now, the gown that she wore is like a nod to her prelims gown, but it's also very similar to the gown illusion that Kat wore during the preliminaries at Miss Universe. I'm gonna go and look for that photo and give you a side-by-side comparison as well. But she looked fantastic. She looked very vintage. So, yeah. Cindy Alexandra. Cindy Alexandra was one of the major surprises that evening. At one point we even thought, she could actually win this because she was such a sleeper and she did really well. She changed her gown, and her gown was a sweetheart neckline that was fit and flared. It was all in lace, and it made me remember Eva Patalinhog because they do have that classic beauty thing going on. And then we had Dream. Now she's funky, she has short hair. Unfortunately, her gown was my least favorite of that night. She was in a long sleeve gown. It had a print, but I felt that the print seemed a little matronly. So there. And of course, the winner of the evening, Amanda Obdam. Now, Amanda was like in an ombre type of gown, but you couldn't really see the details if you're watching live stream. It's a lot better if you could appreciate the photos in HD because of the work and the craftsmanship of the gown. Now, I will note though that the gown seemed very similar in treatment with the works of Atelier Versace. It's the same with her prelims gown. So I don't know if they were inspired by Versace, but a lot of the elements of her gown really seemed like from that design house. So there you go. So right after evening gown, they did their major cut, which was for top 5. Now for top 5, there was really no surprise there. The only surprise was the inclusion of Alexandra. So the ones who got in were Amanda, Prow, Vina, Punika, and of course Alexandra. Now, I'm not going to discuss their Q&A because it's pretty new. We don't have the English translations yet, but we have to just focus on Amanda because she went through 2 Q&As in English. Now, I feel that she did this because she's more comfortable in English, but I don't know if she was just showing off or if she was really comfortable in English, but at least there's some basis for us to really gauge how she could go at Miss Universe. And this is what we found out. So the first interview question was about looking for an influential woman for the 21st century. Now, she did answer it. I felt that she went in circles, and I felt that she couldn't really organize her thoughts. She didn't sound like an idiot because she was able to answer the question in 30 seconds. But at the end, you sort of have a feeling that you wanted more from her. So, but that's fine. Anyway, she has another round to go. And with the other scores that she garnered, it was pretty sure for everyone else that she could actually go further in top 3. So yeah, that's fine because we don't know what the others said. So when top 3 came, unfortunately for Emmy, she did not enter top 3. So it was very predictable to have Punika, to have Vina, and to have Amanda make up the top 3 for this edition. Now again, for Q&A in top 3, they all were asked the same question. The question had something to do with in what way can you represent yourself as an icon of Thailand? And I think that this is an amazing question because if you want to be a representative of Miss Universe, it means that you'll have a bigger platform. It means that you will have the opportunity to do more. And I was really hoping to get more weight from Amanda's answer, but again, just like what happened in the first Q&A, she went a little vague, she went a little general. She talked about her abilities and about her attributes of being Thai. Now, if you listen to her closely and you listen to the translation of Ariadna Gutierrez's answer in 2015, it's somewhere similar or somewhere along the lines. It focused more on her being Thai than actually picking an attribute or an element of her Thai ancestry. So by the time Amanda answered the question, I was really sure that they were going to give the crown to either Vina or Punika. Now, Punika has been flawless from day one. Maybe she does look a little too mature for everyone else, but she was flawless. But Vina, a lot of people felt that Vina wasn't really as I'm not gonna say as smart. A lot of people don't really feel that Vina has the gravitas, but I felt that at that night, she was just effortless, a little too much though, for some people, a little too gigil. That's what we call it in the Philippines, but I mean, what can we say? She really wanted the crown, and for a split second, it seemed that she was supposed to be next in line as Miss Universe Thailand. So when they actually announced who the winner was, it was really surprising for everyone else, especially for the Filipino pageant fans, because the Filipino pageant fans know that Q&A is a really a make it or break it segment. So it wouldn't matter if you did really well with swimsuit, with evening gown, but if you're like 50-50 on Q&A, then there's a strong possibility that you won't get in. But that's on the Philippine setting. Or no, we've had some episodes wherein we've had winners that didn't really have the best answers but ended up winning. So maybe Thailand also is considering the same things. Maybe Amanda would have really done well at Miss Universe. That's why, you know, they're just thinking ahead. But nevertheless, they picked Amanda, and I know that this is heartbreaking because we did see some footages of Punika, who placed second runner-up. Now, as for Punika, this is her third time to place second runner-up. She did so at Miss Earth. She also did so at Miss International. So to finish Miss Universe Thailand as a second runner-up, I'm pretty sure it's something really devastating because she did so well up until the finals night. As for Vina, I haven't really seen any footages of her after the coronation, but I'm sure this is something that is also devastating for her because she was the heavy favorite from the beginning, and she did not falter. Even if there were criticisms about her body proportions or about her pasarela or about the gravity of what she was actually saying, I felt that out of the three, she was also someone who really did well in all of the segments. So I don't know what they were thinking. I am not unhappy with the decision. I just know that for Amanda to win, it should be something convincing. But unfortunately, I wasn't as convinced, but it doesn't matter because she has a lot of time to prepare and really focus and really understand that speaking in English or being proficient in English doesn't mean that you were actually that you could gather your thoughts and that you could convey them in a concise manner. So this is something that Thailand really has to work on. Everybody knows that that's their Waterloo. So we'll see. What is the implication of what happened in Thailand to the Philippines setting? Well, we will have our finals for Miss Universe Philippines on October 25th. And even if the situation at Miss Universe Philippines isn't all rainbows and butterflies as well, because they've had several missteps, and we're actually feeling the heat of not having a lot of the international bloggers cover Miss Universe Philippines. At least we have a little bit of hope by looking into our direct competition. So far, the ladies who have been crowned to represent their countries at Miss Universe, they're a little more mature. Amanda is 25 years old. She is half Canadian. She studied in Canada. She studied business. So we are dealing with someone who understands English, who knows how to reason out, who sounds amazing when she's on the right track. So I think what the Philippines has to do this time is to really look for the whole package. It's gonna be a little difficult for this edition at Miss Universe Philippines, but at least we know that whoever they pick at Miss Universe Philippines, they at least have that big check mark on comm skills. Whether you're talking about Eliza Malinaw, who will be answering questions in her native language, which is Bisaya, or you have the likes of Michelle Gumabao, Pauline Amelinks, or even Bella, who are more comfortable with English, or we could have sleepers who I know are really good with their comm skills as well. So hope is not lost for Team Philippines as long as we can get someone out there with the best training team that we have, and of course the support of the Filipinos. I think we can go head to head with at least the ladies in Asia. So yes, if you have violent reactions or if you feel the same way that I do, again, I'm very happy with the staging of Miss Universe Thailand. I'm happy with the winner. I just am not 100% convinced that she was supposed to take that crown based on the performances of others, but it doesn't matter. She is beautiful, and I am looking forward to further transformation. So thank you guys, and good night.